Hey there, this is Amy, your premier real estateologist, checking in today with the pros and cons and the fabulosity and the annoying parts of living on South Beach. So here we are on South Beach. That's the southern part of the barrier island in Miami Beach. Check out my other video talking about the Fort Lauderdale barrier island. Now we have down here in Miami the barrier island off of the coast of Miami. And that we have South Beach, Central Beach, and North Beach. Today, I'm bringing you South Beach. So hang in there and see all the cool things, mostly cool things, about South Beach. It rocks. Remember, I'm Amy, your premier real estateologist. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Call me on the phone, hit me up on WhatsApp, text me, email me, whatever way you want to contact me. I'm happy to talk to you about all things South Florida. So here we are on the sand. It's a little choppy out there today. We're around 12th Street in Miami Beach. And you'll see the line of condos and hotels. More to come, more to come. So you ready? Go check out South Beach. Let's go. So before you trade in your coats and your snow boots and trade them in for your flip-flops, make sure you watch this video for things that you should know about living on South Beach. The first thing that's fabulous about South Beach, pros and cons video, so here's the first pro, is the beach, of course. This is why people come here. You'll be living in a place where people vacation. And all the things that go along with tourists and vacations are here, but it's easy, man. And you're here because it's beautiful. You have the beach, you have the shopping, you have the nightlife, you have beautiful weather, all the wonderful things about living in a beach community. The second awesome thing about living on South Beach is the walkability. I mean, if you live here on South Beach, you can walk, bike, scooter, or Uber to the grocery store, to the restaurants, to clothes shopping stores, art galleries, all the things. So walkability is the number two fabulous part about living on South Beach. The third fabulous thing about living and investing in South Beach is that there's always a strong demand for real estate here, whether you're approaching it from an investment perspective or from just living here, enjoying it, and then next phase of your life moving somewhere else, you can cash in your chips. I mean, there's a very, very, very strong domestic and international buyer community and demand from everywhere across the globe. That's the third wonderful thing about living in South Beach and investing in South Beach. The fourth fabulous thing about living on South Beach is the iconic architecture and culture. The architecture runs from Art Deco to modern to Spanish. I mean, it's just completely diverse, as is the culture. There's always some kind of a festival going on. Every Sunday, it's like a farmer's market on Lincoln Road. There are Art Deco conferences. There's spring break stuff going on. It's just loaded with multicultural activities and multicultural people. So it's just fabulous. Fifth fabulous part about living on South Beach is you're super close to the airport, to the seaport. So you're close to Miami International Airport, the Port of Miami, and the City of Miami. So it's really easy to just go back over the causeway and hit the road, whether you're hitting Miami and doing all the fabulous things to do in Miami, or whether you're traveling by sea or by plane. So the first difficult part of living on South Beach is parking and traffic. So parking is tough. A lot of the condos or apartments down here do not have covered parking. So you have to figure out how to park on the street. You can get a pass as a city resident to park on the street, but sometimes the closest available parking spot may be a block or two away from your apartment or your condo or your house. Well, if you have a house, you have a driveway and all the things, maybe even a garage. That's a different part of town. That's off of Alton Road and the golf courses and whatnot. But if mainly on South Beach proper, in the heart of South Beach, you're looking at condos or apartment living and on-street parking. Now, some condos have behind gate parking and even covered parking. So if parking your car is an absolute necessity, then that must be an absolute necessity on your checklist that you buy in a building that has parking included. The second difficult part of living in South Beach, or at least it's annoying, is the high cost of living. I mean, you're on a barrier island, so there's going to be a premium price tag on everything to get over the causeway and onto the little island of Miami Beach. And that will cost you from higher rents to higher food prices to valet parking prices. So higher cost of living for sure, but it's worth it. You live in paradise. The third annoying thing about living on South Beach can sometimes be the tourists. So it's a good thing because they bring money into the city, but it's an annoying thing sometimes because they're taking your parking, they're taking your Uber, they're taking your seats at restaurants, things like that. So we get tourists from around the globe all year long because it's really fantastic. So just know that if you live in South Beach, you're living with tourists all year long. But be grateful for them and just give yourself a little extra time. If you're going to your favorite restaurant and you don't want to wait for a couple of hours, give yourself that little extra time so you can wait online with everyone else. Unless you have a favorite place that you frequent often, then you know the owners and they get you in. No worries. Just like any other city. Okay, so here we go. We're leaving the beach now. Leaving the sand. Little intro, kind of breezy out there. So look at that. I just get past all these fabulous fauna and flora endemic to the beach, like mangroves and sea grapes and the like. And now we're gonna go check out the beach. This is Ocean Drive. So the first street you have is Ocean Drive, right on the sand. All the things. Playgrounds, rollerbladers, still regular old school roller skates. So we got rollerbladers, roller skaters, playgrounds, people walking their dogs, people walking the beach, schlepping the stuff. And then mostly hotels and restaurants here on Ocean Drive. So the setup on South Beach from the ocean is Ocean Drive running that way. Then comes Collins Avenue, then comes Washington, and then after Washington come the residential neighborhoods more. So this is more commercial, where you'll see the restaurants, clubs, rooftop bars, all the fabulous offerings that South Beach has. The other amazing thing about South Beach is the Art Deco architecture that's been preserved here. 1920s, 1930s, a lot of these buildings were built and they've been pretty much maintained, and the ones that aren't maintained, they're for sale. And you can dump some money into them and bring back the glory. They're really fabulous when they're renovated to today's standards. This, we also have volleyball courts on the beach. So we're gonna head over to Ocean Drive, which is the first fabulous part of South Beach. The beach, the weather, the restaurants, the walkability, and the architecture. So I'm starting you off here at the beach. You can rent bikes when you come, or when you live here, you just get yourself a bike and there's always a place to lock it up. When you're going inside to any of the restaurants, hotels, or bars. The hotel lobbies, bars are fabulous too. Not only because of their architecture, but because you can just stop in and have a cocktail. It's fabulous. You could spend a whole afternoon here. I'm going to spend this afternoon with you. We're going to walk over to the Versace mansion. Versace lived down here, as some of you may know, for quite a long time. And unfortunately, this is the place where he was gunned down. But he was an amazing benefactor to South Beach and an amazing man. I never met him, but I've met people that knew him, and no one ever has anything bad to say about him. It was just amazing. So here we are walking by. Look at all the sidewalk cafes. The Hotel Victor. This one may have some clean lines to it and look like it might be older, but I think it was probably built in the 50s or 60s. Maybe earlier. If anybody knows any information about the Hotel Victor on Ocean Drive in South Beach, please drop it in the comments. Or if you want me to research it, drop it in the comments and I'll research it. Right now, just talking off the top of my head. But we got the Hotel Victor, and in the Hotel Victor, as in many of the hotels, we got restaurants, bars, and shops. We got a sub and pizza shop, we got a burger shop, an ice cream shop, and daiquiri dogs. What is that? Daiquiris and dogs? You can rent a little three-wheeler. Even if you live here, it's fun to rent. So right across the street, right here, this gorgeous building was Gianni Versace's home that they have now finally and pleasantly turned into a restaurant. I haven't been there yet, but I'm sure I'm going to go there in the next couple days. So if I do, I'll report to you. Look at this. We got doggos playing. We got the rollerblader. And Versace's. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous property. It sounds like down there we've got a brunch going on. I can't remember the name of the place, but it's right here off of 11th Street. And they often have a drag brunch. Lots of fun. So I'm going to head over to Collins Avenue now and give you the little vibe of that. This is your beach vibe on a lovely day. So here we are on Collins Avenue. There's still some stores on Collins Avenue, like the surf shop store. It's a little mixed on Collins more than the beach. The beach is primarily commercial and hotels, Art Deco hotels. We've got commercial and condos beginning on Collins, 2 blocks off the ocean. So yeah, we've got the shops, we've got the condos, we've got the cigars and general market, and we've got these gorgeous restored hotels here. This one here is one of my favorites. I'll have to find out what year this one was built, but it's gorgeous. 1131 Collins. It's called the Kent Hotel. Look how beautiful the facade on that is. Now let's go inside for a quick little tour so I can show you what these Art Deco hotels look like typically inside and how they've been amazingly restored. So here we go into the Kent Hotel. We've got a little seating area because we have a restaurant out here. Most hotels have a restaurant that they coordinate with. Got the little waiting area. It's checkout time, so hanging out and waiting. We've got the lovely front desk area. I mean, look at the detail on this. This coral rock. I mean, this was probably here when you were allowed to harvest the coral. It's not an environmentally cool thing to do anymore. And here's my favorite part of these old hotels, the elevators. It's just an old little elevator. The door opens up, you go inside, and you feel like you're in Europe. The other thing that's fabulous about the well-preserved hotels are the floors. Check this out. Beautiful terrazzo. All beautifully restored terrazzo. Let's go outside and see what else is on Collins. Or maybe we'll wander over to Washington now. So continuing our walk down Collins, we have the Tudor Hotel, another fabulous Art Deco hotel on the corner of 11th and Collins. It's a grid system. So your northwest roads have names. Ocean Drive, Collins Avenue, Washington Street, Meridian Avenue, all the names, Drexel. And then going east and west, it's numerical and it's a grid system, so it's nice and easy. So let's walk down 11th Street and head towards Washington Street. Washington Street and Collins bring you the amazing walkability that exists in South Beach. Woo! It's also the area where most of the tourists are, so that's where most of your people are going to be walking about. Look at this, 24/7. You can eat here, coffee, booze, anything you want, 24/7. There are quite a few places for that. And of course, you can go here and buy some tchotchkes and buy some cell phones, get a smoothie, a smoke and vape shop, a liquor store. You can just walk whatever you need, groceries, booze. So funny. You see the guy that went in there. Not surprising. Fully stocked, nice neighborhood bodega. Here's an old building here. It's pretty cool that it's preserved. You don't see too many old wood framers still standing. South Beach Brewing Company, so you can get nice beer in there and snacks. Look at those shingles. They're like wood shaker shingles in a wood frame house. Very unusual for South Beach or Florida for that matter, because the wood just sometimes over the years has had a hard time standing up to termites. Those little buggers. They can really do a number on those termites. They can really do a number on wood. Over here, we're passing by a salon, so you can get a haircut, you can get your nails done. Across the street here, the 11th Street Diner, my personal favorite. Milkshakes, burgers, cocktails, and dinners. 11th Street Diner, they have the old diner still sitting there, and it's just a fun place to go. It's fun in the morning, the food's great, decent for breakfast, and it's fun even at 4 in the morning when the bars close. It's quite a sight. And then across from the 11th Street Diner, we have the police department. Nice modern building. Now we're on Washington. And there's the courthouse, which also has a cinema in it. I used to come down here and do my thing in this little county courthouse. Isn't it gorgeous? Good times. So now we're over to Washington, and Washington is more for the locals than the tourists, because here's where if you're living down here, you're going to have the walkability to the grocery stores, just everything you need. Grocery stores, a few restaurants, but it's mostly for the locals. The tourists end up here by accident, and that's okay because we still have t-shirt shops. Make America techno again. All right. We've got a real estate office, Streamline Properties. We've got some restaurants and clubs, by the way. There are some good clubs on at night on Washington. That's how the tourists find it. And a few little restaurants. Greek food, Thai food, any kind of food you want from any country, it's probably here somewhere in South Beach. From sandwiches to Mediterranean food to Italian food. And there's the banks are on this street a lot too. But most of all, it's where the grocery stores and stuff that the locals need. It's our kind of commercial street for the residents. Some good bakery. Look at that. Yum, yum, yum. Just go up, order yourself a Cuban coffee, and they put it right out the window for you. That's one of the things that I truly love about Miami and Miami Beach. Okay, so next we're gonna go to, I think, Lincoln Road. I think you got the vibe on Washington. And again, just see it's 2 short blocks from the beach. Next street after Washington, Collins, Ocean Drive, Atlantic Ocean. It's a random museum building here. And if you pay attention at all the little doorways, vestiges of the past remain. So this was Cress. I think Cress was a pharmacy and like 5 and 10. Speaking of which, oh yeah, here's the gallery. It looks fabulous, doesn't it? Hard to see through the glass, but and if you're thinking about going into business when you move here in South Beach, there's always a storefront for rent. Check it out. This place looks pretty good. Looking inside, it's got maybe 300 square feet. Rents down here run average around 45 bucks a foot. So if you want to move down and open a business, there's always properties for sale and properties for rent. If you're interested in looking at those options, just give me a call, hit me up on WhatsApp, or contact me in whatever method you prefer. Now we're over here on Washington at the intersection with Espanola Way. I'm taking you in the pretty way into the residential area. So we're on the outskirts of the commercial stuff. We got a nice Cuban restaurant here. We got some art murals on the wall. We got some traffic. We'll just wait for this light. Oh, and across the street is Havana, 1957. Another beautifully preserved building, which is now occupied and has been for a while by Havana, 1957. Terrific Cuban food. And the other building over there is also pretty gorgeous. So let's cross the street, go into the residential area by way of Espanola Way. It's a cute little street, primarily restaurants with delicious food. So when you live here, Espanola Way is a good place to entertain your friends when they come. So, bienvenidos, Espanola Way. Here we go. I'm going to turn this around so you can walk with me. Maybe I won't. All right, so here we go. Cute little Streets with the Latin theme, busy restaurants, sidewalk cafes, seafood restaurant, Italian restaurant, cigar bar. Cigar bar is just opening up. South Beach goes all the time. Some people, I don't even know if they sleep, but there are hair salons, bakeries, ice cream, gelato stores, eyewear. Great place to come if you're a tourist or to bring your friends when they come to visit you when you're living down here. And then when we get to the end of Espanola Lane, or Way, Espanola Way, we're going to end up in the residential section of South Beach until we hit Alton Road. Then when you hit Alton Road, you're going to be back commercial again. There's really no place like South Beach. It is fabulous. The first residential street we're coming on from the ocean is Drexel Avenue. Still have a few. The Drexel building is restored beautifully as well. Look at that building. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. And it goes back a half a block. It's a huge building. The other thing about South Beach is all of the public art. Zoom in there. See, there's a piece. I haven't read the sign, and the public art displays are often changing. Try to feature a rotation of artists, unless an artist just wants to stay on the beach, then they work that out. But most of the time, the artists like to bring their art to various cities. You get a lot of artists from Burning Man, from South America, and from the beach. Walkability and bicycling. It's an easy little city to get around by foot and by bike. It's actually easier to get around by foot, by bike, or Uber because traffic and parking is sometimes a challenge. And here's a typical example of how the residential neighborhoods can be from time to time. So we have this cute little triplex here, sitting right next to a huge building that's undergoing pretty extensive renovations. This building is probably designated historic, so they can't just tear it down and build a box. And what I love about the renovations is you can start with the Art Deco European / American era of architecture. And then as the international community is coming in and investing in South Beach, the primarily Latin community are throwing their edge in on it and putting a little twist, a fabulous twist, on the Americana European Art Deco. They're giving it the Latin flavor, whether it be with the metalwork or the redesign of the courtyards. It's really pretty cool. Let's go down this street. So we're going down Drexel, and there's the building that's under extensive renovation. So Halloran Construction's doing this. This has been happening with this building for a couple of years that I know of. It's not easy and it ain't cheap renovating, but man, is it beautiful when it's done. So you can, for instance, buy one of these Art Deco buildings that have been here since the 20s or 30s, and you can just put some paint on it change out the window air conditioning units and put in central air, change the plumbing. Those are going to be your big ticket items. And all the while, you have to maintain the historic designation or appearance of the building. So this one, for instance, looks like they painted, they changed the windows, and I don't see any window units sticking out of the windows or building, so they made an investment in the HVAC system. It just looks fabulous. This is an apartment building. Very few hotels back here on Drexel and Meridian and whatnot. You see this one over here on the corner? That one is huge. And if we zoom in, you can see those window units. They didn't convert that one to central air yet. And it looks like they have the windows from about the 50s. Another fabulous apartment building. And if we go to this corner, they did a lovely job on this one. This is, you can see the Latin tweaking on this renovation. Believe me, this wouldn't be in this fabulous shape from the 30s. Somebody invested some dollars here. And look at those bougainvillea. And then we have behind us this building is also beautiful. We just walked past it. They did a nice job on this one too. Apartment rentals. So if you're looking to invest in multi-units down here, this is the place to come. You just have to check all the important stuff like the roof, the plumbing, the air conditioning, the flooring, the structural integrity, because you have to get a 40-year certification if you're renting apartments in South Beach to ensure people are safe. Look at that one. It's a beauty, huh? It's two, actually. There's this building here on the corner. Then there's this building here. And then there's more along the street. The other thing that is paid attention to are the trees. I mean, look at these royal palms. Just gorgeous. You can't ignore the landscaping when you're talking about design. So they did a nice job on this one. All the details are there. The light fixtures, the windows, the paint, the foliage, the landscaping. Here's one here across the street. Looks like it might need a little love, but I'm sure it's close to 100% occupied. This one here, they kept the name on it. They named the building, whenever they built it, the Elizabeth. I love that where they keep the names. Check it out. Beautiful, huh? Behind me, we have a lovely building too, and look at that tree. It's gorgeous. Oh, it's some kind of fig or something. Spin this around. So look at that courtyard. I took this old Deco property and they have the mangroves in the center courtyard, pond. Might even be koi in there. I don't see any swimming around though. I think I see a turtle though. But that's pretty cool, keeping the Florida mangrove in there. And then this gorgeous, gorgeous tree. So let's keep walking. So you'll see these little gems here. And you know, if you're thinking about buying in South Beach and you're just not sure which property to buy, whether it's a multi-unit, a condominium, or a single-family home, then rent somewhere. Hit the buy before you trade in your snow boots for your flip-flops. Okay, so this building here on the corner, not our finest hour in American architecture. Let's see. Probably built in the 70s. Pretty boxy, pretty typical of the 70s. But hey, some of them inside are just fabulous and you can't beat the location. Again, another rental building. So there's just a little smattering of the residential neighborhood. It's a little smattering of the residential neighborhood in South Beach. If you want more info and you want to take a deeper dive, contact me. I'm happy to take you around and investigate further, because there's just everything here from Art Deco buildings to newly constructed buildings right next to each other. So tell me what you like and let's do it. You'll also notice on the residential streets those cute little apartments. All these cute little apartments, it's on-street parking. So you're going to have to figure out where you're going to park your car when you live here. This building, for instance, has covered parking. That's pretty good. If parking and covered parking is important to you, then that should be your number one thing on your checklist. Because getting street parking can sometimes be a challenge, even if you have a pass. Look at these fabulous little buildings all next to each other. This white one's pretty cool. I mean, look at that detail and the concrete work. And here we are at the famous Lincoln Road. Let's take a stroll down Lincoln Road. Again, you see all the public pieces of art? Got this piece here, XO. We've got the Lincoln Road sign where so many tourists sit in front of it and take their picture. And then we start heading down and seeing what's on Lincoln Road. Pedestrian only. Pedestrian and doggos, of course. No cars. Bikes sometimes make their way here, so just be mindful. And on both sides of the street, you have stores, restaurants, and the like. I see a surf shop. I see a Steve Madden shoe store. I see a Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I see Ray-Ban. And ooh, I see a fabulous restaurant known for its delicious steak and a rooftop bar. So one of the rooftop bars. I actually went to a party the other night and it was on the rooftop of a parking lot. So, you know, they can just pop up anywhere. But if you see there on the top of that Udres Carne de Res, there is a rooftop bar that just looks fabulous. See it up there? There it is. That's the back of it. It's on the corner. Lincoln Road, baby. Looks like something came down here. Very unusual for a building to get torn down.
You used to not like it, right?
Boom. Boom. Let's zoom out. See, the building came down here. You know, I think that building's owned by the church that's been here forever. And sometimes churches can get stuff done that others can't. There's that fabulous rooftop bar. The New World Center has concerts and symphonies. It's fabulous. This corner here is available, so if you're moving down here and you're in the restaurant or tourism business, it's a great spot to jumpstart your business. The tourists are here all year long, so you just have to negotiate the right rent, and you should do pretty well here. So yeah, on Lincoln Road here, they have lovely landscaping. They have sound gardens. The foliage is even identified for you. This is Fairchild Gardens helps with this, and they generally plant species of plants endemic to Florida. These are thriving really nicely here. So that's in the center. Yeah, and there's the Miami Beach Community Church. That in itself is an architectural wonder. Really, check that out. Get past the construction signs. Look at the architecture on that church. Does it remind you of churches in Puerto Rico, Cuenca? Got definitely a Latin vibe to it. On the other side are shops and restaurants as well, with sidewalk cafes. Let's take a look. Let's just cross over past all this beautiful little garden space. There's also, besides the public pieces of art, most of the public pieces of art are interactive, such as the chimes at the entrance of Lincoln Road. And then here we have all the pizzerias, Italian restaurants, Spanish restaurants, and sidewalk cafes. Just a lovely way to spend the afternoon. And it doesn't get old. Even if you live here, you'll want to come here and hang on Lincoln every now and then. We got H&M clothing store. We got Macy's. We've got, all the national brands on Lincoln Road as well as the independently owned businesses. Here's another interactive piece of art. You can go to the still shot. The cool thing about this piece is that they left an extra seat there. So if you want to be in the picture, you can. If you want to ride the bike with all these crazy people and animals, there's your seat. H&M was you can see here, the Lincoln Theater. So the Lincoln Theater used to be a symphonic hall, and it's now moved over to a new venue, and H&M renovated the building and preserved the exterior. It's really lovely. Keep walking Lincoln. And you have your big old Cheesecake Factory there on the corner on Lincoln, pretty close to parking, so their rent is probably crazy. Another one probably with the ability to pay the rent. Yeah, you know who. Some people like the coffee. Some people like that it's a fabulous bathroom break. More places for people to chill. And more stores. We got the old Crocs over here. Look at the Guest store in the old Cadillac building. I love when they keep the names. Let me zoom in. Zoom me. Look at that. It's the old Cadillac building. It is now a retail store for Guess clothing. So, plenty of things to do on Lincoln Road. Eat, drink, shop, walk, get your steps in, people watch. It's really fabulous, and it never gets old. So thanks for joining me on this video about the pros and cons of living on South Beach. It's mostly pros, so if you're interested in buying, or renting, or investing in South Beach, give me a call, hit me up by email, hit me up by text, hit me up by WhatsApp. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell so you get the videos as I make them. Because my goal is to make 2 a week for you. So hit that bell so you can get the videos as they come out. I travel all through South Florida, and this video was the pros and cons of living on South Beach. Thanks again for joining us, and remember, this video was brought to you by Amy McGrady, your premier real estateologist. Thanks for your time.